first speaker, who is Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel, can you hear me? You can just unmute yourself and introduce.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Daniel Onwe. I'm a Chevening Scholar at University of Nottingham, precisely the School of Law. My specialization is international law and development. I have been practicing law in Nigeria before I succeeded in getting the Chevening Scholarship that brought me here in UK to kind of give an international touch to my law practice. I congratulate every one of you who succeeded to the interview stage. It means that your work, your presentation to Chevening is indeed great. And trusting God with one or two things that you may pick from this interview, from this chat, you will be able to ace your interview and eventually get the Chevening Scholarship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel. That is very, very nice of you. To everyone that is on this call, I just want to congratulate you. It has not been easy, trust me, to get into this stage. That means you have been doing something fantastically, and I can tell you that you're already a chef now. To be honest, to get to this stage, you're already a chef now. That means you must be doing something special. To be honest, it's not easy to be here. Maybe about over 10,000 people might apply in Nigeria, and getting shortlisted to among hundreds is one of the things you might want to say. But honestly, you're already there. Getting to this stage, you're already there. I can tell you that you only need to do more to get ahead. So to our experience, whatever we're going to be sharing is just going to be solely on our experience. And this is not mean that whatever we say here is going to be as the judgmental criteria. No, we're just going to be talking based on our experience through various interviews and especially Chevening. Everybody has a different experience, trust me, but there is one thing that I feel like make everybody stand out during the interview. And whatever they want to check from you, basically is just, are you the one that invented that writing that you put through? They just want to be sure that this essay that you submitted, it is solely yours and it is nobody that wrote that for you. So it is left to you to defend what you've written. Sometimes people lied during their essays, and to probably defend it might be a problem. I can remember how my first interview actually went before I go through. Yeah, from my own personal experience, I did my interview twice. So don't feel like say something if you win, and if you don't win, don't feel like, oh, this is the end of the world. No. So the best thing is just that put your best in everything that you are doing, because the only regret somebody might have is when you don't put your best and you feel like, you should have just put your best. So trust me, when you put your best, everything will go on your way. Before we start, we just speak basically on what you need to do before the interview, before we now move to the interview section. Like, what do you need to do? What you need to do before the interview, before you go for your interview. What are the things you feel like you should put through? I'm going to call one of our speakers if they have their contribution to talk about what you need to do before the interview. Shall I start with Mr. Itofah?
Yeah. All right, my brother Blessing. Yes, first of all, again, I want to say congratulations to everybody who is currently on this conversation now. You guys are already global leaders already to have come this far. I want to iterate that because that's a mindset you must approach your interview with. If you do not approach your mindset as a global leader, you come as someone who's, oh, I need help from Chevening. So you come with that mindset, you're already defeated. So from this point on that we're having this conversation, your mental condition and your mental framing is that, look, I am a global asset. I'm a global leader, because you're going to be going to the British. If I'm correct, Blessing, is it the British Council they're going to be going for the interview? So you're going to be getting legal, like formal invitation to come to the British Council. You're gone already. So first thing I'm going to say that worked for me, like Blessing said, every view here is not Chevening's view, it's our personal experience. So don't say that they told you what Chevening is looking for. It's just form of our personal experience. Condition your mind to believe that you have gotten it already. And then from that state of mind, walk into your interview. Once you walk into that interview as a global leader already, once they're asking you a question, you're not responding from a frame of mind as someone who's looking for an opportunity. You're responding from a frame of mind as someone who's investable, right? So first thing is mindset. If you get that right, I promise you it would impact how you would show up in your dressing. It would impact how you show up in your communication. It would impact how you show up even when you meet people on that day. I remember that day I met I tell the story all the time. I met Charles. Before I met Charles at the interview, I'd been following him on Instagram, and he had just returned from Switzerland working with UNESCO. I said, this is the guy that I saw on Instagram that just came back from Switzerland. You also want scholarship too. Then what are we going to say if you're looking for scholarship? That means you're going to get it already. But because I had already primed my mind that, look, yes, so this guy's coming from Switzerland. Maybe me, I'm just doing a local work in my country, Nigeria. It doesn't matter. What's important is that, do you have the content to deliver in that room when you get inside on that day? So, but once you condition your mind, sorry, I don't want to murder anybody's name. Marcos, you condition your mind. I promise you, once you get there, you are going to have an incredible experience. I was telling them in another session yesterday that my interview was not probably even up to 15 minutes. When I left the interview, before I finished the interview, the lady who was on the panel said to me, "You made our job so easy." Literally, that's what she said to me. So this stuff is about mindset. If you can hack it, it's done already. We're going to see you in England in a few months by the grace of God. So I think that would be my introductory thoughts.
Thank you so much, Mr. Itofah. I'll just call on Goodness. What do you have to say?
Thank you. So I think that I laid the foundation about building your mind, and for the to maximize the time we have, I'm not going to talk. You really need to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, psychologically, that you are achieving material, that you are worthy to be. Do is you need to absorb your story. Everything you wrote in your essay, I don't say you should cram it though, but you need to take it in. You need to like breathe your story. Like if they wake you up and say, what's your leadership story? Have you things she wrote? Why did you choose, for example, education? It's in the first sections of like defend it using Blessing's word. So before the interview, you need to take in your story. And in doing that, I would advise that you're not cramming the story, right? Before I went for my interview is almost every day, and this was an advice a scholar gave me and a few other persons who were supporting me with my preparation. Like I should just read my essays. Like I'm reading a story every day. When I wake up, I should read maybe at night. Just become familiar that there's no part of your story that you stutter. There's no part of your story that you're unsure about, right? Is it your long-term goal about every aspect of your story needs to be part of you. You need to own it. You need to be able to communicate it. Maybe you are standing in front of your mirror and you're talking to your mirror and explaining this. Maybe you are having a mock interview with somebody and the person is saying, let me get to know you. How do you introduce yourself? What do you talk about yourself? What's your elevator pitch, right? You need to own your story. So all of that is important. In addition, I would say you also need to go beyond I hope that you have some days before your interview. This is a good time for you to begin to rewrite your story. You submitted your application in, say, October, November. What has happened to your life between October 2023 to March 2024? How have you continued to create impact beyond what you have written? It's a good time for you to share new examples, additional examples, because they've read your story, right? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Is it better now? I see that you guys cannot hear me. I'm breaking up. But is it better now?
You're breaking up, but it's better. It's better. You can go ahead.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. I don't know how much of what I said you heard, but just to summarize what I have said, just in case you didn't hear me clearly. I'm sorry about your experience, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll try to fix it. But yeah, in summary, try to get familiar with your story, trying to look for new examples of what you have done, and also try to own that story. Maybe later on we'll go more in depth into what it means to use the STAR approach. What I did is every section of my story, I rewrote my essays in a STAR approach. I introduced new examples. For example, how have I shown leadership? How have I maximized my network for impact? And I'm bringing in additional examples, new things that have happened, or just additional things that I could buffer my story with. And then the STAR approach, for those of you who are not familiar with, is that, okay, what was the situation? Now, this is a storytelling format. This was the situation, and this was the task, and this was the action I took, and this was what it resulted into. You don't stop there. There's an additional arrow. Your reflection. This is what I learned from that experience. So, for example, like if I had written that, oh, we maybe distributed sanitary pads in community, what has happened after that implementation? What impact has it led to? What systemic change or behavioral change or, health outcomes has come out of that, or socioeconomic impact, right? So maybe I'm already going into during the interview, but my point is, before the interview, taking your story, extend the story, and own it. Let it be part of you. Not cramming, because if you cram, they will know you won't forget what you're saying. But yeah.
Mr. Daniel, do you have anything to add to it?
Okay. Thank you very much. Particularly the previous speakers. I'll just have to add to what they have said, which I very well agree with. So one thing you should know is that you are the master of your story. Yeah, so see yourself as actually being a master, and prepare your mind to speak confidently. Now, I think the issue is what to do before the interview. Now, participating in a talk like this is one of the key things you need to do. So at least you are starting well. I participated in a number of talks like this when I was still prospecting, and identify areas where you think you do not have strength or you are weak, and try to build on it. And if possible, do some mock interview with people, which is part of what you are doing here, and identify certain areas, then work on those areas very well. And you realize that when you are writing your essay, you may not have written everything that was in your mind to write as regards what you did. So the time of the interview is a time where you can be able to elaborate and bring out some points which you omitted at the essay. And that will actually prove that it originated from you. Because just like has already been pointed out, the interview is actually to prove the originality of your essay, to prove that this essay originated from you. And if at the interview you recited exactly what you wrote on the essay, it suggests that it could have been done by someone else, and all you did was to cram it, and you have now come to pour it. But if it actually originates from you, you will actually know that there are certain things that you ought to have included in the interview that are relevant that space did not allow you to bring in. So it's at the interview that you'll actually bring out those elements to flesh up what you have done in your interview. And that will actually give your interviewers the impression that indeed this essay originated from this guy. So in all, just be confident and do as many rehearsals and mock interviews as possible. Master your script very well and let it be part of you so that you can flow on it. And also be prepared to answer, to be taken from different angles, because the interviewers may not actually question you directly as you stated your essay, but they may come from different angles. So be prepared to respond to issues you discussed in your essay from whatever angle that they may come from. So that's just what I can say for now. So maybe as time goes on, I'll be able to elaborate on other points. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's good to hear from you, Mr. Daniel. What I'm going to just add basically is like, if you are preparing for this interview, just do your basically research, trying to research on the university you're choosing, trying to do more research on UK generally, and do more research on your essays too as well. And read your essay, please. Read your essay very, very well. You don't need to like go extra mile and read unnecessary things. Like read more of your essay. Like your interview questions is going to come majorly from your essay. Like 90% is going to be from your essay. So it's better you read your essay very well, trying to master your essay very well, and make sure that all your responses to your essay become part of you. Once you do that, trust me, that will build your confidence, especially when they ask you any question concerning anything that you've written. So read your essay very well. And also, like Mr. Daniel has said, do a mock interview. You can call your friend. It doesn't have to be somebody from a Chevening or power chef now or something. Just make sure it can be your friend, it can be your brother, it can be your sister. Just make sure that the person is critical enough to analyze your responses. So just do mock interview with friends, do mock interview. I remember during my time, I all my mock interview was majorly my friends, all my friends, not all of them, not maybe I only had one with a Chevening alumni, only one. But the remaining ones, my mock interview was basically my friends. I was like, hi, I want to do this mock interview. I'm preparing for scholarship. This is what I want you to look at. This is what I want you. Just give them the guidelines, and I'm telling you, they're going to do a great job for you. So also rest well, I beg. You need to rest. You need to rest. Don't go and kill yourself because you want to prepare for an interview, please. You need to rest your mind. Like, let your mind be at rest. Let your mind be at rest. Put yourself in good mood before the interview. Like, put yourself in good mood, because if you are in bad mood and you go for an interview, probably the probability that you will do well is very slim. So put yourself in good mood, be fine. Make sure your mental health is okay. Put yourself in good mood. Buy yourself whatever you want to eat. Enjoy yourself. So just put your mind in good mood. That money that you are keeping, spend part of it. Be cool. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. Now we are moving to the second stage, which is the interview tips. Like during the interview, what are the critical things you need to examine? What are the things require of you? What are the basic likely questions you might encounter? And there are some questions they will ask you that will throw your balance. How do you like give a comeback to that kind of questions? How do you relax? How do you, get yourself a time to be able to answer questions? So I'm going to be starting this one with goodness. Goodness, you can have you.
Blessing, do you have like questions you want me to respond to? I want to know the structure we are taking. You're on mute.
Yeah, I just want us to talk about what are the likely things you need to do when you are in an interview. Let's talk about that first.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You.
What you need.
So what you need to do when you are there.
Yeah.
I think I have a bonus point to add to preparing. For some of you who have to travel, like Blessing mentioned, try to make your travel plans in time and have a backup plan. And I'm speaking from experience, right? So my interview, I had to travel from Calabar to Abuja, which was my interview center. I had booked my flight like a month earlier, but the day, like tomorrow is my interview, day before my interview, the flight was cancelled and there was no other flight flying to Calabar the next day. Can imagine the, I don't know, anxiety or tension I was having. But somehow I was able to manage. I found myself in Lagos, and then I flew from Calabar to Lagos and then Lagos to Abuja, and I made it in time with the support of my friends. I got to the interview place, and the interviewers were very empathetic to my situation, and they would ask them to just checking in, are you fine? Hope you're not too on rest with the situation you've had. So my point is, please dot all the I's and the T's. If you have to travel maybe a week before or some days before, if you are not based in Lagos or Abuja, because those are the specific cities, try to put all those things in place. And if, like me, you still have an unfortunate situation, I pray that you're able to manage it. Like I was, or I don't know, but yeah, that point is important. Now, the interview. I think one of the things that is mostly like downplayed is coming in with that confidence, like dress and feel so good. I mean, in your long-term goals, maybe you said you'll be the president of Nigeria, or you'll be the commissioner of maybe health, or the minister of finance. How would the minister of finance in the next 10 years dress? Like, let your aura be able to put you in that mood that gives you all the confidence you need. And I got this tip from a scholar, and I can attest to you that it works. I mean, be comfortable, no doubt. But I'm not saying dress to impress, but look good and feel very confident in your dressing. And in that way, you are already looking like an authority, right? You are not coming there to prove to them that maybe they are doubting whether you know what you are doing or not, right? So your dressing is important, and how you look and how that aura you come in with, that helps, especially for you as a person in sharing your story. Now let's go to the main gist. When I was preparing, most of the mock interviews I watched were like, the first question they would ask you is, can we get to know you? And then you will give your elevator pitch. Brethren, they did not ask me that. And that's why I said, do not cram your responses. Because if you have watched a lot of mock interview videos and they say the first question is, can we get to know you? That question is asking you to introduce yourself. And then you should be able to say, oh, my name is Goodness Odey. And in the last 5 years, I've been advancing health equity by doing XYZ projects. And this is why I'm passionate about this. And I feel like the Chevening Scholarship would enable me to achieve my goal so that I can extend my impact, maybe like a 1 minute or a 2 minute elevator pitch introduction. So I'm not saying you should not prepare in that way. Some people had that first question approach, but they did not even ask me any question about, let's get to know you. For them, I think my interviewers were like, who is this girl, Seth? Let's even meet this girl, because I think they done a lot of check on me. They had checked my LinkedIn profile. A few days I got some check like, oh, Chevening Secretariat checked your LinkedIn profile before my interview. And I had written about the work I have done, my travels, and the different places I have extended the outcome of my work. So they were curious. And I think the first question they asked me was, why Chevening? Usually, why Chevening is like the last question. But that was the first thing they told me, like, why Chevening? Why do you want to study this course? And that was a conversation starter for me. So my point exactly is, again, be familiar with every aspect of your story. but be able to just have it like as if you are gisting somebody, right? But in a professional setting. My interview ideally is supposed to be like an hour for each person, and then they would use around 40 minutes to interview you and use 15 to 20 minutes to review your response and then call another person to come in, right? But then I think my interview extended to like 50 to 55 minutes, and they're like, oh goodness, okay, we think you should be going now, because we were having a very beautiful conversation. That's how I felt so confident after my interview, because it led to a conversation. They were asking me questions like, oh, this is off record, but we want to know, what do you think about this issue? Like, I mean, political issues, and then my experience with the work.
Reading, writing, and stuff. Let me use myself as an example. Tell us about your leadership experience so far. My name is Itofah Ivarah. I work as a social entrepreneur and a development consultant. In 2018, I started an organization called Church on the Street, and our primary job was to close the inequality gap in education for children who are marginalized and increase retention rates for children who are out of school. And what did we do? We launched a local crowdfunding that helped us raise $16,000 in 4 years. What we did was we partnered with local schools in places like Warri, Jos, Kaduna, and Abuja. We built schools, we built local libraries, we built local food banks and pantries as well. In doing that, in the space of 4 years, over 8,000 families have been direct beneficiaries of our project. We have increased retention rates across these 8 states by 27% in the last 8 years. And my dream is to build a world where every child will have access to education and no family will ever have to go to bed hungry. And I know through Chevening, it will give me that opportunity. What have I shown them here? I've shown them that, look, I've gone from a guy without experience to build something, launch something that is scalable. And I didn't spend 5 minutes. So everybody, first thing I want you to pay attention to, don't stay too long. All right, George, you did a fantastic job, but please, the goal is, what are the top 3 things I want to hit these people with? Talk about purpose conference, talk about my drama, tie that to what you're doing in your master's or what you're applying for your master's. All right, don't go and say you are teaching children to read and your master's is in media and communications. What's the correlation? But if you tell me that you're using drama to solve societal menace, and you tell me you're going to do a master's in I'm like, wow, this guy he enters. This is the kind of person who wants to invest in. All right, I'll take a back step. Goodness, is there anything you want to add?
Itofah, I think you have been as concise as possible, and I like that you get to address that, because that's more like your space with your experience and expertise around education, advocacy, and then some work around media. So I don't want us to stretch it further, but your feedback was just on point. Thank you.
All right, I don't know, is Daniel on the call? Daniel and Blessing. Okay, I don't know if they're on the call, but I see. So thank you, George. Please go and implement these things. All right. And like Blessing said earlier, when you engage with, have at least 2 other mock interviews before your actual day, please. Okay. All right, sir. I saw Sadatu's hand was up. So we'll just touch all the 4 questions, give you feedback, and that's how you should approach it. I saw Sadatu's hand. Any other person wants to go? I will take the next question.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Please, can you turn on your videos?
Sorry.
Your video, rather.
I left the meeting.
Oh, Blessing, you're back on the call now. So you can you take over your host, Sarah. Blessing.
Okay.
So Sadatu is here. So what we started doing was have like test mock with them, each person, and then do a general feedback for everybody.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. I think it's a very good one. Let me just talk basically. What I observed in the first one was because the guy was having a long conversation and it was not critical in driving his point. One thing you need to be very sure is when you want to answer a question, one thing that you need to put at the back of your mind is using a style approach. Trust me, once you can tell them the situation, like, oh, this is the situation, every other things will follow. But once you miss the first thing you need to talk about, you start talking around, and before you know it, you spend about 7 minutes. What you have supposed to spend about just 3 minutes, answer. So please put at the back of your mind, the first thing you need to drive is, what is the situation that leads to that kind of thing that you want to do? What is the problem? Like, tell them, like, this is the situation, this is what you do, and this is the situation that surround what you tend to do, and this is how you do it, you actually do it. So don't forget to tell them what drive you to that situation. What is the situation? And when you are giving your response, trying to link it to the objective of what Chevening actually wants, or what you are going for. Trying to link them together. Like, there should be a link. You cannot tell me that you are going for maybe health practitioner courses or something, and you are telling me about education. Is there a link? That's what Itofah was trying to tell you. Like, there should be a link with your example, the example you are giving. So that's what I was just saying. Since we're having a random questions now, I would just, okay, the next person that is raising up his hand. Who is the next person, please? You can just have the, who is the next person? I don't really know the next person because I mixed that.
It's meant to be me, I think.
Okay, you can go ahead.
What's the question?
All right, so let me shoot, because Blessing wasn't on the call. So Sadatu, you're on the call, yeah? I can't see you. Okay, so just to put this in context, what we're doing is there are 4 questions we're asking. We just asked about leadership. We'll go through the remaining 3 questions. We won't ask one person all the question. Every other person will have an opportunity to answer the remaining 2 questions after you. What we'll do is we'll give a general feedback. That feedback, if you apply the feedback that we're giving you, you're going to get selected. All right. So that's all. The question I'm going to ask you is, of all the universities you could have gone to, why did you choose your specific university in the UK?
Okay. So my first choice course is the MSc in Biotechnology at the University of Edinburgh. And I chose this course for a number of reasons, but the 4 main reasons are that the University of Edinburgh is known for highly impactful research. For example, Dolly the sheep, who was the first cloned sheep, which is very fascinating, was cloned at the Roslin Institute in the University of Edinburgh. And my career plans are highly reliant on my ability to do high quality and high impact research in the field of climate change mitigation. So I think it's very important for me to attend an institution that places an emphasis on impactful research. Another reason I'm interested in the University of Edinburgh is that is the home for the Center of Engineering Biology. And not only is engineering biology the field of biotechnology I would like to specialize in, but that research center is the perfect example of a research center that I would like to establish once I return to Nigeria. And I would like the opportunity to study how the research center works, so that I could get tips on how I could do something similar in Nigeria. The third reason I chose the University of Edinburgh is because of the specific courses that it affords me. The University of Edinburgh the MSc Biotechnology at the University of Edinburgh is a very flexible course. It gives me the ability to choose courses from different domains in biotechnology, but most especially, I'm interested in the courses on synthetic biology. It goes the whole range from introduction to synthetic biology to the application of synthetic biology and tools for synthetic biology. And I'm not only interested in knowing knowing the tools I can use to conduct my research, but I think it's also very important to know the origins of these tools and what they can do for me in my research. I'm also interested in the University of Edinburgh because of the equipment and because of the equipment that will be available to me. They have lab scale bioreactors and also large industrial scale bioreactors, which will give me the opportunity to see how these equipment can be used for my research, because bioreactors are a very big component of bioproduction, because synthetic biology is the engineering of microorganisms, but we're engineering those microorganisms to produce biological products, and they will be produced in bioreactors. So it's very important for me to see firsthand how these bioreactors are operated and how they work. I believe that if I'm giving the Chevening Scholarship, this will give me the opportunity to pursue my MSc in biotechnology at one of the best universities for research, and it will go a long way in helping me to achieve my goals in conducting research into the use of biotechnology to address climate issues like greenhouse gas emissions and pollution. Thank you.
That is very, very wonderful and concise. But for me, what I noticed from your interview, from your response rather, was that you're trying to like put your point together by say, oh, you have 4 points. And if I tell you that, if you tell somebody, an interviewer, that you have a particular point and you are not able to drive that point, it's going to be a problem for you. You want to feel like, I already said 4 and I can't remember the whole 4. It's better you don't give numbers, because if you give numbers, you might likely go and shoot yourself at the leg. Nobody is telling you to give us points. Just tell us, why do you choose that university? You can decide to give 2 major points and close your points, rather than say, oh, I have 5 points, and at the end of the day, you only remember 3, and you are now trying to try to drive the remaining 2 points. So that's one advice I would just give to you. Number 2 is just that you need to be critical when you are expressing your point. Like, any university can be a research institute now. There is no university in UK that is not a research institute. Why is it the particular one? You have to lay emphasis on like trying to be different when you are driving that point. What are the major things that make you feel like, oh, this is the point? For me now, if I want to explain my that kind of answers to somebody that asks me that why did I choose Sussex based on research institute, I can just tell the person that University of Sussex, is one of the best research institutes in the world, because they have Institute of Development Studies, and they have Educational and Social Work Research Studies. This major institute is one of the forefront of educational institute in UK. This is one reason why I'm choosing, trying to drive your points in a more critical way, that people will feel like, this person is saying things. He's not just saying it without evidence. You get trying to put evidence in your answers. I don't know if Itofah have something to.
Hi, Sadatu. That was really good, really, really good. You've done. I like the power you talked about the cloning sheep or the lamb you talked about on the bioreactor. I really, really loved that. But the only thing I noticed with your content is that I feel you're still talking from your head. You started explaining how with bioreactors you can create. I think you said something about biology, because that's on my sector. I saw how you changed. I saw the cadence in your voice changed. That's how you want to talk to them. So these things you said, don't memorize it. Say it from your heart, your heart, your heart. I really want to be a researcher. I want to build this stuff in Nigeria. I chose the UK because now I noticed that 2 secrets. Look for a research paper on Google Scholars or Leonard Robbins' paper on extra cloning of artificial intelligence, and it spoke critically to the ephemeral dissemination of DNA. This girl knows what she's saying. Give her 5 points. Knowledge, 5 points. She even called professor. No, this girl knows what she's talking about. That's what will separate you. And then third thing, humanize every response you give. I asked you, why did you choose of all the schools in the UK? I didn't see you talk about stuff like you want to go to Old Trafford. You don't have to say it all, but look for something to humanize your responses. So for me, I came to the University of Bradford. Yes, it's one of the first institutions in the world, but Bradford is also a very cheap city. Bradford is also a UNESCO site. I wanted to go to Alhambra Theatre and watch one, even though I've not still gone up to now. But those are the things that humanize your stuff. So when 200 people say they want to go to University of Edinburgh, they'll say, no, Sadatu said she wanted to go to Alhambra Theatre. She said she wanted to go to Old Trafford. She said she wanted to go to this place in Glasgow. So you are remembered when the panel is now picking everybody. That's my only contribution.
Please, if you're not speaking, we would appreciate if you mute your mic, please, so that we can hear ourselves. Thank you so much for that feedback, Itofah. Blessing over.
All right.
I know that I was trying to share something before the network went off in the initial meeting, so I could just pick it up and see if we have more time to look at other areas. I don't know if Daniel is still on the call. I've been trying to also have him as a co-host on the meeting, but he could confirm that with me. Just to add to some of the tips and feedback Itofah has shared and to pick up from what I was saying, like I said, you need to own your story and be very, like, as if you're like literally just like you're gisting somebody, talking to somebody about your work, how confident you can be able to bring in new examples, be familiar with every aspect of what you have to share. And any part you feel you are not confident about, don't mention. Anything you're not confident about, don't mention. Definitely they will scrutinize every part of your essay and ask you like question that builds on what you have said. So you should be prepared for anything. But if, for example, you don't know how to pronounce the name of the professors you had listed that you look forward to connecting to in your chosen institution, and then you go and stutter or you mix up the names, don't. If you claim that you have connected to some of them, you have read their research, maybe they ask you, okay, who are these people? What are they doing? Like in my case, my first choice, which is my current program I'm doing in health policy planning and financing at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine and then London School of Economics and Political Science, right? I mentioned that part of my motivation for going for that program is to, like, I have worked with Professor Don Prisno, who is like a mentor to me when he came to Nigeria to have a global health emerging leaders program. And I have worked with him in the last 2 years. We've written research paper, and I've also seen the excellence and passion he has for global public health. And given that, I feel like it would be an institution that will equip me with the skills, the knowledge, and the expertise to, in the same manner, strengthen global public health in Nigeria and beyond. So you can see how I am tying my story. I did not go and mention somebody I don't know or I have not had any interaction with, or maybe I've not even read their papers. With Chevening, it's so difficult to lie. Your story must add up. If it doesn't add up, they will know. I mentioned earlier on that they checked my LinkedIn profile. It means that everything I said, they scrutinize it. I even had, like, during the Chevening orientation event where they more like welcomed us as Cheveners, right? My mentors were looking for me and they're like, goodness, like a feedback for the interview, right? They were like, you impressed us, but we were curious to say, who is this girl who is well-traveled and she's so young, and then she's done so much in a short time. She's gotten so many awards. So it's more like they wanted me to prove that what I'm saying is true. And at a point, it went beyond them asking questions because they're like, they are done asking you the questions they want to ask. But we're not talking about the political dynamism of different issues in the country. We're talking about the project I have done. And then what did I learn from the project, the community-driven approach, what were the unique aspects? I mean, these things were quite unrelated to the interview. I would not say totally unrelated because who knows, it could be what was the tipping point. But I'm saying that be so confident and comfortable in your interview that whatever approach the question comes, you are able to talk about it, you are able to address it. Another thing I want to add, maybe the next person we'll bring on board, we could ask them their long-term and short-term goals and we can give you feedback on that. But I think that in your long-term and short-term goals, try to be as clear as possible, right? The question can come in different formats. Some of you may have already watched a lot of YouTube videos on Chevening preparation and people get to share specific questions. They could ask you, what would you do when you return back from the country? Or what are your ambitions? What are your aspirations? And all of that. Whatever approach the question comes, try to be as clear, as concise as possible. I know this is the section where most people struggle because you don't have clarity about your life so much. Like some people are not clear about what they want to do in the next 10 years. But we said this in the initial Chevening session we had with people when they're writing their essay, right? We mentioned that Chevening are looking for leaders. Itofah has said it over and over. It is an investment. So they want to be able to see that potential in you, that you would be that outstanding leader in the country. So whatever you are sharing, some people say, oh, my long-term goal in the next 10 years, I want to be the Minister of Health, I want to be the President of Nigeria, I want to whatever impact you want to make sure that it is, you already know the SMART rule, right? It is realistic, it is specific, it is measurable, it is tangible. But at the same time, you prove to them that you would make a worthy investment in the resources they'll be putting into you. So I think those are some of the things I would add on to what has been shared so far. I see that some people have put up some question in the comment section. Maybe Blessing will try to take us through that in a sequential order. Thank you. You're muted.
Thank you. That was very good feedbacks. I think we should just move to another part of the exercise, and we can now drive into the questions that we want to talk about. So, is there anybody that is willing to answer the question on long-term essays? If you are confident enough, you can just raise up your hand before we move to the questions and the chat box. No one is willing to take the mantle, right? Okay.
Ikena.
Okay. We have Ikena.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, please, could you ask me the question so that I could answer?
Yeah. Hi, Ikena. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good to meet you, Ikena. And you've really shared amazing examples of what you have done. But we would love to know, beyond your studies in the UK, what are your plans in terms of your career goals and your aspirations?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, my passion has always been to ensure affordable and quality healthcare services to Nigerians' most vulnerable population. So I have noticed in my over 5 years of working in the public health sector, I've noticed that there are equity issues and equality issues when it comes to healthcare service delivery, and even in terms of affordability. So what I hope to achieve with the Chevening Scholarship, I hope to be able to ensure the proper implementation of the National Health Insurance Act of 2022 that says that all Nigerians must be enrolled into the health insurance scheme. So in the short term, immediately I return back, I plan to get back to my state health insurance agency, which is the Abia State Health Insurance Agency, to begin the proper implementation of the National Health Insurance Act at the state level, and then have and then engage in collaborations with the National Health Insurance Authority to see how this to ensure that access gets to everyone. Then in the midterm, I plan to undertake implementation research to understand the implementation challenges. For example, things like do we have like the provider payment mechanisms issues, the provider behaviors. So, and then also then we also talk about things like the equity plan, and also how to ensure that there is an integration of health systems. So for example, we see there's the basic healthcare provision fund running independently, but if you look at it critically, you see that we don't have most of the vulnerable Nigerians are not being covered, so to speak. So so that's my medium-term plan. Then in my long-term plan, I hope to be part of the policy level, a top policy level, where I can have ensure population affect population impact, or have population impact, so that majority of Nigerians can have. So, for example, I plan to
Thank you,
have
Kena.
engagement.
Thank you for the response. That's very helpful. Thank you. So I had to cut you because I think that because you are still preparing, you have done great. Trust me. it didn't take me one day to master my scripts, to be able to speak confidently. It's one thing to know what you have done, to be able to write what you have done, and it's a different thing to be able to talk about it to a panel, right? So I want to say, well done. I can see how your thought process is forming, and in a way, you are communicating the concerns you have about the health system in Nigeria and what you want to do about fixing those issues. So that is commendable. Some specific feedback I have to give you is always try to keep your response as short, succinct, and concise as possible. Yes, there are questions that you need to provide, like more details, right? This is one of those questions you need to provide more details. But at some point, I realized that you were beginning to do a lot of, it felt like you were trying to gather your thoughts and you were going round in circles. Now, I understand that you are still in the preparation phase and you are still trying to get familiar with how best to communicate your long-term and your short-term goals. But as you are preparing, write a script. Like, I believe in putting pen to paper. Write it down. What do I want to do in a clear and concise way? These ideas I have. How do I say, upon return to Nigeria, I plan to go to the Abia State Ministry of Health or National Health Insurance Agency and support with the system strengthening approach XYZ. Then you connect it to what you studied, utilizing the knowledge and skills I've been able to acquire from, for example, the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. I plan to use my knowledge in this to be able to do XYZ. So you are being specific. Now, the SMART rule is not just an acronym. People are looking at what you are saying and how they can pick the tangible points. By the time you are struggling to explain yourself, I'm struggling to even find what are the specific details. You're also being measurable. You have talked about the institution. You have talked about even the role you want to take on. For some people, aside you, some people may already have a job they are doing. It's a good time to say, I plan to return back to the organization I'm currently working in and continue the work we are doing to expand the reach. Maybe you want to reach 1,000 people. Before now, you are doing 50,000 people. Or you want to be able to raise more resources. Or you want to be able to build their capacity further. Or you want to be able to, whatever you think is feasible in the shortest time possible upon return with existing institutions that you are involved in, or you feel you can easily gain entrance. You cannot tell me that probably you are working in a microfinance bank when you were in Nigeria. When you return, you want to become CBM governor. It's not possible. Do you get my point? So I'm trying to give a kind of general feedback to other people, but something specific to you as well. Now, like I said, try to build your story. And this cuts across all the questions. In the leadership question, the networking question, why Chevening, why UK, what do you want to study, long-term, short-term goals. You need to be able to build your story. Your story should build upon each other. It should be a connection with, I had said this in the leadership story, this is the connection in the networking story, this is the connection from my introduction to my long-term and short-term goals. So you cannot tell me that your mid-term goal, your short-term goal is maybe working in a local organization in your community or in your state, and then your mid-term goal would go back or something. Do you get? It should be like a step further. Maybe you want to take up a national role. Maybe you want to take up a regional role. Be specific. Where, who, how. And you don't have to beat about the bush too much. Now, I'm not hitting on you, Ken. I'm taking a general, I'm giving a general feedback, right? You can be specific and succinct. Succinct is that it is concise. You go straight to the point. And they can see clearly what you are saying. Also, demonstrate that you have done enough research about what you are talking about. You are confident. You are an expert in that field, right? What are the current gaps and lapses in the Nigerian health landscape, in the educational system, in the energy system, in the security system, in whatever field, international development, diplomacy, media, creative arts? What are those specific gaps? I mean, things that people can go online and then they can see that, yes, this is existing. What are the ongoing policies that maybe there are gaps there? You need to do your research. I'll not do that for you. But by the time you mention those things, you can quote facts, figures, statistics. Don't throw numbers anyhow. But then you bring in those numbers, the statistics, the ongoing work, the projects that are ongoing, the lapses, and you can mention those things specifically, they can know that this person knows his or her onions and they know what they're talking about. And this goes across all the different aspects that the question can come from, right? So now, one core part of this question is how you have to demonstrate that you are a worthy investment of the Chevening Scholarship. So what that means is that you need to say, I would be contributing to the XYZ FCDO project in your niche. What is the educational project that Chevening is doing with Nigeria? Because Chevening is like a partnership between the UK government and the Nigerian government. So through the FCDO collaboration, they get to implement several projects. You have to do the research yourself. You have to find out those. And you have to say, how would you be contributing to achieving that goal? I'm not saying you come and join them in implementing the project, but how would your work foster the successful achievement of those goals, of those milestones that have been set? How would this solidify the UK-Nigerian partnership, relationship, and long-term goals? How would it center Nigeria's development? How would you be that ambassador to create a better Nigeria that we want? This is sounding like sorry, but those are the things they want to hear. And your long-term goal should be very aspirational. Trust me, Chevening are looking for leaders within the Chevening community globally. I mean, you guys are familiar with the sad death of the recent CEO of Access Bank. He was a Chevener, right? And it's unfortunate, but I'm saying those are the caliber of people. We have CBN president in governors who are Cheveners. I mean, Cheveners across. There's a Chevener. There's a Chevening alumni who's the president of the country. They are ministers, they are prime ministers. I mean, whatever position you can think of, Cheveners in the last 40 years that has been existing have moved to those positions. But I can assure you that when they were in that room and they were being interviewed to be considered for the scholarship, Chevening saw that seed of greatness in them and say, this is a worthy investment. So you must be able to demonstrate it. Don't bluff. Don't say things that are not possible just because you want to impress them. Be reasonable, but your long-term goals, like in the next 10 years, 15 years, or whatever is long-term for you, should be as aspirational as possible. You should also connect to what the global goals are. It could be SDGs, it could be African Union 2063, it could be whatever goals in your field that you feel that your long-term engagement would contribute to it. Right? It could be as a nationalist, it could be at the regional level, it could be at the global level. Be specific, be feasible, be bold, be confident. I hope you find this helpful.
Yeah, that is very, very explanatory. Yeah, there's one thing I also wanted to say, but you've actually mentioned it. One thing you
Thank
didn't.
you.
Yeah,
I'm just going to ask me. Okay. Yeah. So
hello.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to ask. I have practiced this thing. But when you said when Goodness says that she did it in a day, I'm wondering how. Like, I've done this for some days and I've not yet mastered the line. So I was trying to ask, are there any tips on how to master this thing in a day to speak so fluently? Oh, okay.
I think you are frozen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Maybe you did not hear me clearly. I did not say I was able to master my script in a day. I had several mock interviews. Literally, anybody I meet that I trust, I mean, people in my corner, it could be just one question. I would say, ask me this. And then I compose myself and I answer. I like personally in my bathroom, in front of my mirror, like I kept practicing. Sometimes I'm even sleeping, maybe lying on the bed rather. And I'm like, okay, how do I phrase this? How do I say this? So no, I didn't get it once. I was only trying to reassure you that it's okay if you have not gotten it yet, and it is going to take practice. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. What I wanted to chip in is that one thing that make you confidence is when you do enough practice. Trust me, when you do enough practice, I can't even remember a number of interviews that I did, maybe up like maybe 10, more than 10. I did interview with my friend every time, every day. I was like, oh, ask me this question. Oh, yeah, ask me this question. Because I was trying to like master whatever I want to say without missing any point. The thing is just that you can master your points or your papers or your essays in just 1 or 2 days. If you can do that, maybe you'll be maybe one of the most brilliant person on earth. But the fact is just that being able to do like few of mock interviews can, can make you pull through, especially give you more confidence on whatever you want to say and where you are making mistakes. And what I want to add is that when they're asking you long term in your essay, like your career plan essay, you need to like talk about what you are going to return to. Are you currently working in one organization or the other? You have to mention, oh, this is where I want to do. Not like say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Where? How? Where do you want to do it? Like, is it the previous organization you're working with, or you are building a new organization? You have to be very clear when you are mentioning that. And number two is because I tend to understand that people just say, oh, I want to return back and do this, do that, without mentioning where is the platform that they want to use. So you need to mention that. And number two is trying to link all your points, all your objective, what you intend to achieve, trying to link it with what the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office is currently doing in that your space, trying to link it up and talk about, oh, this is how you can call me maybe as a collaborator or, as somehow like how you can work with them or how you can help them promote what they are promoting. That is just the link. Do you know what? When my mentor asked me about how do I link what I'm doing with Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, I was lost. I don't know how. I don't know how. I was like, how do I link it? He just told me that I should go and find a way I can link my work with what FCDO is doing. I was like, okay. I went online, see what they are doing. At the same time, I was writing, oh, life work as a collaborator. These people are big organization. My organization is just, how do I link it? The linkage they are talking about is not you writing a letter to like maybe work in any. They just explain how your work fit into what they are doing and how you can help them promote what they are doing in that your space. You can also work with them as you can collaborate. You can, you can work with them in through any phase 6, just trying to explain. The explanation is you promoting what they are doing and the long time goals that you are mentioning. And when you are saying long time goal, please be a little bit ambitious because long time goal, if you say you want to be a governor, nobody will penalize you. You just have to let them understand that this is long time, 20 years, 25 years, you can be anything, right? Well, it doesn't really not have to be a big tool. You understand? So that you not shoot yourself at the leg sometimes. Just be trying, be concise as possible and trying to be straightforward with your answers. Be very straightforward. So that's what I would just say. So far,
okay, thank you. Yeah, so I was asking, would you allow me where?
Please, Mr.
Sorry, Ikenna, we have to give room for other people, right?
Yeah. Please don't take. There is one thing that you do. If I'm interviewing you now, trust me, I will mark you wrongly because you are just hijacking you're hijacking the speech from my mouth, honestly. And if you are doing that in your interview, you are scoring yourself, like you are biting yourself in the leg. You have to like listen first and let the person finish his own explanation before you jump in. Don't just jump in because, oh, do you get what I'm saying? So trying to like listen first. And people tend not to listen to the questions. One thing about me is if you ask me a question and sometimes they may ask you like 3 questions in one, and you have to listen. Like if you don't listen and you just feel like you want to jump and before they ask you a question, you already jump into the answer because you know it. Maybe the person actually wants to ask you 3 questions because he has just mentioned one, he just jump in. You just say, okay. The next question is going to give you, you'll be surprised. So trying to relax, don't do too know, like I too know, even you already know the question. Just relax as if, oh, you want to think about it, not that you already know the question. Just relax and form as if you want to crack something from your head. Not just jump because you know the answer. So that's what I would just say. Thank you. Mr. Itofah, do you have something to say?
I think you guys have done a really good job. No worries.
All right. So is there, okay, so the question on but is somebody who asks, do you have to go with any other materials or something? I think I saw that question. any hard document, you just have to go with your passport. Your passport. Is there any other thing? Okay, I think some may ask for admission letters, right? If you have your unconditional letters, you can go along with it. I don't think they require, but just make sure you do not forget your passport. I beg. Your identification, don't forget. If you forget anything, don't forget that one. Because with that one, you'll not be able to enter. Don't be surprised. If they ask you, okay, I think Itofah Ivarah said this, like, why do you want to study in UK? If you ask why UK, if somebody asks you why UK, sometimes question can be very simple and it can be very critical. If they ask you why Chevening, sometimes they will talk about, oh, can you introduce yourself and why do you choose Chevening? Okay, you can just say, oh, my name is so, and you just give a short statement like, oh, I've chosen Chevening because I feel like it's going to connect me globally. You mention that. But if the question stand out, like one question, they say, why Chevening? That means they're asking you a big question. They're not asking you just a simple question. But if they ask you like, oh, can you introduce yourself? Let us know you and why do you choose Chevening? That is like just telling them yourself and linking yourself to why you need Chevening. You get. So, but when the question turn out, one question like that, and say they ask you why UK, just know that they're asking about your third essay, like why the course, why UK? Do you get me now? So sometimes the interview might just be logical, like trying to understand how you think. So if in the middle of your essay you're just saying why UK, the first thing is, if it's me, I will actually answer why the UK first. Then I will now drive my point to the courses that I've chosen, because it might be the only opportunity for you to address that question. And if you don't address that question fully, you might feel guilty, like, you should have answered it fully. Yes, just answer it fully. You get. That's what I would say. Okay, I think that is all on the question. Okay, Gloria, you can just unmute yourself and answer the question. Gloria.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for the support so far. My name is Gloria Jari from Ghana. I have a quick question, especially with the why UK and why you're choosing schools. In a case where you are asked why UK, is it good to start with a little background? Why you're choosing schools and why UK? Is it good to start with a little background about what you have observed as the situation within the industry or sector you want to work in? Because I realized that when people were answering the question why, they just went into, okay, my first choice is in this and that. But I don't know if it's good. I was intending to rather, if I'm to answer that question, to rather give a backdrop that, oh, maybe according to research from the Food and Agriculture Organization, so and so happens this and that. And then I think the UK is the right country where excellence and leadership, then I dive into. Because of this, my first choice is in this and that. I don't know if it's good, but I just wanted clarity if that's the right way to answer it, or
yeah,
I can just dive into.
Yes, that's the right way to probably answer that kind of question. Like, if they ask you why UK without saying why the courses, why have you chosen the courses, I think the best thing to do is to explain why the UK, at least answer the question first. Why the UK? Oh, UK is, according to what you've done, your research background, you're trying to understand that UK is number one in this social field. That is one of the reasons why you've chosen UK. And when it's come to like, oh, this space, maybe your research space or your educational space, UK is the best, and you feel like this courses is going to help you, then you now dive into your courses. Is brings critical and asking question, is like the best. Like, if I ask you why, you can just tell me, oh, this is the reason why I'm choosing the UK. Maybe I'm actually trying to ask question about your third essay, like, why do you choose UK and why do you choose those courses? You understand? You cannot talk about UK. Yes, you can just talk about UK without going to other things, right? But if the questions stand out like that, just know that they are also asking about how do you link that to your courses. At least if you have chosen UK, there's no way you want to mention UK like UK is the best without mentioning your courses, like the course why you have chosen that course in UK. So you have to link it to why you're choosing those courses. If the questions stand out, I'm just trying to think logically now, because if you ask me why UK, I'll tell you UK is the best, like #1 in a institution, #1 country in the world when it's come to like education. Even people from China, from US do come to UK because they feel like UK is the best when it's come to educational settings. And my course, which is education, international education and development, I will tell you that is University of Sussex is the best, and why I'm choosing University of Sussex. And University of Sussex is in UK. So you have to drive your point like, oh, this is why the course, why you are choosing UK, the course you are doing is also in UK. So you have to, it's like asking you the same question. You just have to like drive your points to answer the remaining points you put on your essay. It's just as simple as that. I think you get it now. But it can be in a different situation if they already ask you why you're choosing those courses. If they already ask you that now, and they now ask you, okay, why UK? Then you can just explain because, oh, UK is the best, and so why you choosing UK? You can just explain that. Maybe their culture or any other things you want to talk about. But if they've not asked you why your courses are, please just know that that is what they are asking you. Don't just answer directly now and now say, they say, why UK? You now say, oh, I've chosen 3 courses in UK. Is that really sensible? It's not really sensible. You have to drive your point from the fact that, oh, UK is also best and is best in this particular, and this is the reason why you're choosing this university because it's in UK. This is how you drive your points toward what you want to say. Thank you. Do you have any other question, please?
Let me quickly look at the comment section and then see if I could respond. So about the conditional or unconditional offer, by now you should have applied to your schools because they would ask you, have you applied to your programs and have you gotten offers? It's okay if you have not gotten any offer. Personally, I hadn't gotten an unconditional offer or even conditional offer. I was awaiting feedback from my schools, right? But then you should have applied, and they would ask you, have you applied? When did you apply? So they'll document that information. So just don't be afraid if you have not gotten an unconditional offer yet, but you should have applied, and hopefully you should be expecting to get an offer in the shortest time possible. Some schools do not give you an unconditional offer until you pay your tuition or provide a proof that you have gotten a scholarship. Like in my case, it was until I got my Chevening Scholarship and also the unconditional scholarship offer that my school converted my conditional admission to unconditional. So what that means is that Chevening is happy to accept a conditional offer, and then as soon as you get the scholarship, that can be converted. Just I think right now your current focus should be on trying to prepare for your application, your interview, and also be sure that you have applied to your programs, and they should be your offer should be on the way. I know that Mariam said she has a question. For goodness, do you want to unmute your mic and ask your question, or you want to type your question? I don't know, because we want to close in the next 10 minutes. It's been a long day for many of us, and we have to prepare for the week and school.
My question is literally simple. I applied to the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So I just wanted to ask, like, what are the fun things that I can do in the school and any extra curricular activities that you feel I can add to my interview, basically?
Okay, Marian, it's a good question. I think your fun thing should look at London as a city, because London is like the heart of the UK. I mean, this is debatable, but I mean, there are lots of things you can find that interest you. There's something for everyone. If you're an introvert, if you're a nature lover, if you're a party lover, if you're somebody who's into museums, literally London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine is opposite the British Museum, right? So there's something for everyone. So you can leverage the social aspect to the things you want to explore during your time in the UK, the places you want to visit, what you want to do in London as a city, right? You want to visit the Buckingham Palace, Hyde Park. There are lots of things, but I don't want to give you things because I don't know what interests you. Look at what interests you. A simple Google search can give you lots of options. Within the school community, London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, it's one of, like, the leading institution when it comes to global public health. So you could speak about how you want to be involved in some of the research that is being done in these centers. So maybe you have to navigate the website a bit. LSH has a few centers. There's Center of Evaluation, Center of Implementation Science, the John Snow Society, and all these different societies and centers are research driven. They are also system strengthening driven, and they even have like chapters in countries, right? So there are some countries that have like an alumni chapter or even an institute of LSH in that country. So those are the things that you could
Do we have
talk
one
about
in Nigeria? Do we have one in
I don't
Nigeria?
think
Sorry
so.
to interrupt.
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
But
much.
please confirm. I don't think so. I'm not. I know for Uganda, and I have a colleague who I think he's from Malawi. Yeah, but he did say he's doing some research with them. But yeah.
Okay, thank you very
But
much.
please
This was
check
very
on your
insightful.
facts. Check on your facts, and in terms of social or extracurriculars, I mean, London is more than enough for you to talk about if it's something you want to do. Yeah.
Okay,
But I
thank you
think
very
another
much.
thing that would help, yeah, this is something I think would serve for everyone. One thing that is very beautiful about studying in the UK is the diversity. I school in London, and on an average day, I could hear people speaking different language from every part of the world. Maybe not all parts of the world, but I mean, at a stretch, I am hearing someone speaking Chinese, speaking Indian language, speaking Pakistani, speaking some African language, Uganda, I mean, Swahili, French, France, Spanish. That is how diversity is. And that is the diversity you are going to experience in your lecture rooms, in your seminar rooms, with your colleagues you're going to network with. And that is also a learning experience for you, which is something that I have found very enriching in the course of my study, right? So this is something you could reflect to say you look forward to, like, experiencing and maximizing, like learning, taking in the multicultural setting of the UK, and also interacting with people from their diverse background, their race, their experiences. That is one of the most enriching aspects of my studies so far, and it's something you could maximize because it's a lot for you to make out of it, and which is why Chevening believes that your networking would transform you in the course of your studying in the UK. It's something to make the most out of.
All right. That's very good. I think there are some questions on the group chat, which is someone said, hello, I'm from Gambia. I would like to know the best way to answer these questions. How will you contribute back to Chevening? What we are doing is actually contributing back to Chevening. Do you understand? This can be part of the ways you want to contribute back to Chevening. So I don't know if Itofah or Prudence have any other thing to add to that question.
Goodness, you want to go?
Okay.
Itofah, please go ahead.
Okay. I mean, for me, when I was asked how I wanted to contribute to Chevening, even though I've not done it, because I'm going to be very honest with you guys, I said I'm a great chef. So I told them that I'm a great chef, and I know how studying in the UK is going to be very complex and very, very tedious. So what I plan to do is to bring scholars together for like fireside chats, make dinner. I could cook dinner for them and all that type of stuff. But it turns out that all my friends are in London. Goodness is in London. She has not come to visit me in Bradford. Blessing is in far away in Sussex. So, but yeah, I think try to just, again, for me, like I said, this is my experience. Try as much as you can to humanize everything that you are going to be representing and telling the people. That's how you're going to be remembered. That's how you're going to be remembered. So I told them I was going to cook. I was going to bring my friends over. We would have chat and do all that stuff. So for me, that's what I said I was going to do. Blessing said he's going to do scholars and so we're all here today. So I'm still going to cook and invite you guys to come to Bradford, guys. So yeah, that's how I'm going to answer that question.
Yeah, somebody said, I just want to clarify one question here too. Person asking you, do I need to get an offer to be able to attend the interview? Anyway, you don't need to have an offer yet. Yeah, but you just have to let them know that you've applied, that you've not gotten a feedback. But there exists this timing that they give to you, the time that you have to upload your unconditional offer. please kindly check that time and make sure you do the needful. Or else, if you are not able to get unconditional offer, even when you are given the scholarship, you'll not be able to, you'll not be able to get it. So it's one of the conditions of Chevening that you need to have an unconditional offer. Yeah, there are some conditional offer that goodness have actually mentioned the other time, because you might have a conditional offer and the only condition there is that you need to pay a certain amount of money, of which Chevening will understand that they will have to help you pay for you to get an unconditional offer. So I think that's I think that I've actually answered that question. And somebody talk about, oh, I have my first choice in arts law, second choice digital culture and communication, and the third in arts, gallery, and museum. The first choice is slightly different from the second and third. How do I defend this? I have an unconditional offer from University of Leeds as my third choice. Please, this is what we are trying to avoid when you are writing your essays. I think we mentioned this during our essay tips that we did. We actually mentioned that at least if you are writing a course, make sure that at least these courses are related. But the fact that these are happening now, and which one, since your first choice is digital culture and communication, and arts law, okay, everything is still art anyway. So, but the fact that you can still find a way of, trying to look at, if they ask you about these courses, you can just mention your first choice. Maybe it's your first choice that you want to go for. Talk about more of your first choice. Then you can just pick maybe 2 points in your second choice and 1 point in your second choice. But if they notice that 3 of your courses are different, then you should be ready to defend why you've chosen 3 different things. I don't know if Itofah or then we have something to put in to that.
I think that 3 different question is very impossible. There's no way you should pick 3. You don't be here if you pick 3 different courses. They have to be some sort of connected. So if it's development, if it's public health, there have to be some type of connection.
Yeah.
Put it together. Because if you pick 3 different things, how are you going to connect it? But if you did something in your undergrad that's different from what you want to do in your postgrad, the ability to find that connecting thread is a possibility. So for me, my background is in education, but I switched my master's in development. What did I tell them? I said, look, I started a non-for-profit that worked in grassroots and we're doing this in education. And this is how we're contributing. As a result, I chose to do a master's in this course because it would allow me expand and scale the work that I'm currently doing. So that's my answer to that question, Blessing. It's almost 5 p.m.
Yeah, I think very soon we'll be going. But the fact that connecting your background to Chevening does not really care so much about that. I did biochemistry in my undergraduate. I'm currently studying international education and development. Yeah, I've done everything. All my projects have been on education and development. So you can use your experience to defend that. But the fact is, you've chosen 3 different. If the whole 3 is different, now it's still a difficult thing. At least they are both related. Just trying to find the connection between the 3 courses that you've chosen, and you can just go with that. So I think somebody put a question and I just wanted to look at it before we call it a day. If I get an offer from a school that is not included in my Chevening application, I haven't gotten any offer from the 3 listed, will it reduce chances getting to the scholarship? Okay, what you are going to do is you can try to change maybe your first choice to the one you have an offer. Yeah, you can change it. You can say you want to change it because they will ask you if you want to go with it. You can change one of your offer. If you say you want to take the first one to the new one that you are bringing in, you will have to like defend it, because there is no way they will not question why. Why do you want to change it? Or maybe you want to just put it in your second choice, and probably you might be lucky and they will not ask you why, or just prepare your why. Try to prepare your why answer, because you might just tell them because you find something very interesting from that university, but don't tell them because you have an offer. I don't know if you're getting the point. Don't tell them because you have an offer, that's why you want to change. Just tell them that, oh, you find something interesting about the university that you want to change in, and you feel like it's going to be the best. Just trying to defend it. Why? But don't say because you have an offer at that university. Sure, you get. That's it. You can always change at the interview stage. Yeah, you can only change. or trying to defend why you are changing. I think that answers your question. Yeah, to the last one, please, if a Chevening Scholarship for University of Kent, I want to go to LSTM, is it possible? I don't understand your question.
Okay. Okay, please. No, I was trying to say that, for example, if at the end of the interview, I get the Chevening Scholarship is for University of Kent, but because of IELTS, I'm not able to. IELTS now it's over 200,000. So can I apply for them to put the scholarship for LSTM? LSTM already my IELTS requirement has been met, but for Kent wants above 6.5. So I was just asking if it's possible to have the scholarship swapped to LSTM instead of University of Kent.
Is your University of LMT, is it LMTX or something? LSTM,
No,
is it part of the choices that you choose between the...
Yes, it's part of it, sir.
Yeah, you can change it to first choice and change the other one to second choice. You don't need to mention to them that because you cannot get the pass through the IELTS. You don't need to mention that. Don't even mention that. Just say, oh, you want to change the first to second because you already know that you don't have the qualification to get unconditional offer on your first. So you can just choose that. Oh, but you just have to tell them reason why you're choosing, like find another good reason, like, oh, you feel like this research this also is related to what you are doing, more related than the other one. That's why you want to go to that. Or you see somebody in that field that you feel like you want to get connected to the person, or just find a good reason why you want to change your choices. You understand? I think
Okay.
you have, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, once again, I want to appreciate everyone. I want to appreciate Itofah, Goodness, and myself, and Mr. Daniel for bringing these. And this is really, really, even we have technical issues at the beginning. I feel like, oh, what happened? Something like that. But we thank God, everything there was actually back to normal. And I want to wish you like all the best. Try to, put your mind at rest. Do a lot of mock interviews. Do a lot of mock interview. Read your essays. Like read your essays very, very well. Read your essays and be prepared to answer questions based on your essay. Trust me, prepare extra questions for yourself, like how have you made unpopular decisions? These questions, just put one essay there to that question. In case they ask you to give maybe more examples of what you've done, you can just pick that one. Now you can always pick that one there and just use it, throw it to them. How have you taken unpopular decision? At least prepare an answer for that kind of question. What are the challenges you face during your projects? Prepare an answer for that kind of question, because those questions usually come out. You can't tell me you did a project and you did not encounter any problem. And when have you as a leader, is it bad decision or something, like wrong decision? When have you make a wrong decision as a leader? You can just prepare one answer. It doesn't have to be like a wrong decision, like majorly the way we call it wrong, or something that that you learn from, something you learn lesson from. You understand? So trying to prepare an answer to that kind of question. Why Chevening? Trying to prepare an answer to that question. Why UK? Prepare an answer to that kind of question. An introduction, introduce yourself. So people are not lucky to pass through, like introduce yourself to people. And I say, oh, your name is so. Okay, the next thing they throw you question. But if they give you opportunity to introduce yourself, please, you have to be prepared for that number one question. It's not a question, it's not graded, but trust me, it can put you on a good shape on that day. Your introduction can put you through. I'm telling you, if you have a good introduction, they can be impressed. They're already impressed, like, oh, this person is very valuable. Let's hear from him. He's going to give us. So please have a good introduction. Don't just go and prepare bad introduction for them. That's a bad impression at the beginning of your interview. So please prepare yourself and dress well. Dress well. Dress well. If you are wearing native, make sure it is complete. If you are wearing it, make sure if you are wearing suit, make sure it's in good shape too. And okay, what are the things I want to say again? Trying to also don't stay on Chevening after your Chevening now, after the interview now. Don't just sit down and be waiting for a response. Try to, engage on other activities. Continue with what you are doing. If you are working, continue with your work. and be patient, focus on your daily activities, trying to explore other opportunities, trying to look at other opportunities too and apply to other opportunities. Try to apply to other opportunities. And that is all. Don't forget your passport and trying to be very humble when you get to your interview venue. When you get to your venue, trying to be very humble. You don't know who you might meet. You might meet somebody at the gate and the person might be your interviewer. You don't know. Trying to be, don't go and be angry with somebody and be somebody make you vex, you're not angry. And the fact is you are just surprised and you met that person on your interview table. Please be humble. Anywhere you find yourself at that interview venue, please. And that's all the tips I'm going to do. Just do more research, a little bit research. Don't do too much. Little bit research. Maybe the school you've chosen, you can read about one of the main few things they do. Just do few research. Don't do extraordinary research so that you not bug yourself with a lot of information. And when they ask you, you don't know which one to say. Please, just be very, very focused. And that's what I have to say. Thank everybody. I really appreciate everyone for coming on board, and I wish you all the best. Like I want to hear your story that you won, Chevening have introduced like everybody here. I want to like see everybody winning, and that is why we are here. And if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to any of us. We are on LinkedIn. You can reach out to us. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. Just give us any questions.